soon as you told me kind of the summary of it,
Mm.
I was like, you need to come on the podcast and talk about this.
Say you're the doctor. I
Yeah.
wasn't talking.
Right.
I had to type it all out
You couldn't
because
speak.
I could not talk. And then she said to me, are you always this colour? And I said, what do you mean? She said, your skin is mottled. She's like, is she always? And he's like, oh yeah, you are. Like, she had patches of white. She said, I'm going to get you on the bed, get your legs up. She said, I think you should be in A&E. My sore throat was strep A infection.
Okay.
Which had got invasive. So it then led up to my ear, which is why caused the eardrum to burst.
Yeah.
But because it was left so long, I got septic shock from that infection.
Right.
Basically, my body was shutting down one by one, is what was happening. They said to my husband, she's going to have to get induced into a coma.
Did you have any memory issues when you went?
Yeah. I still struggled with that a lot.
Yeah.
Even stand. I had to have a Zimmer frame for a while.
Yeah. That's the bit where so many things can go so wrong.
Yeah. The whole thing could have been prevented, but equally, if that hadn't have happened to me, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Exactly. Hey everyone, welcome to Real Talk with Nat. Before we jump into today's episode, I've got something to share with you all. I've been working with the team behind Renova for a number of years, and I'm so proud to finally introduce what they have just created. You know those moments when you're feeling stuck, when you feel like you're doing everything that you should, but somehow you just still feel disconnected? That is exactly what Renova has been designed to help you with. It's not another productivity app or a self-help tool. Renova combines daily AI check-ins, expert human coaching, and a real community to help you align, slow down, and really create that reality that you truly want. Here's how it works. Each day, you start with a 2-minute check-in that helps you see what's really driving your stress and what's really driving your energy. Then you can connect with others or coaches who are on the same path as you, people who truly understand the highs and lows of personal growth. And here's the best part. For the next 7 days only, you can try Renova totally for free for 30 days. After that, it will move to a standard 14-day free trial. So if you've been meaning to take that next step forward to feeling aligned, feeling grounded, and feeling more clear, this is your moment. Just head over to renova.coach and start your 30-day reset today. All right, let's get into this week's episode. Welcome, Charlotte.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. First ever podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're not nervous. You're fine.
No. It always takes me a minute to, settle in.
Ease into it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Give a little introduction to yourself. Let the viewers and listeners know who you are and what you're all about.
I am Charlotte. I'm a mum of 2 children, 2 young children. They're 8 and 4. That is my first job, as I would call it. And then I'm a gym instructor as well.
Yeah.
For Studio 281. I also do a bit of admin work at the moment. So I'm a bit of jack of all trades in it at the minute.
Yeah.
Always busy, want to calm down, should calm down, slow down, but probably will not. To be honest.
Fair enough. That's life.
Yeah,
That's life though, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think as long as you're not going to a million miles per hour all the time, then it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So this hasn't always been your career. You haven't always been a gym instructor.
No.
Obviously haven't always been a mum.
No.
But what was life like before that then? So take us back to your childhood.
Okay.
What was life like? And kind of bring us up to where you are now.
Yeah, life was great as a child. I lived with my mum, just us 2. Obviously still saw my dad on the weekends, but they split up when I was probably about 5. I think. So I don't know life without that. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like a big shock to me or anything.
Sure.
Yeah, I had a great childhood. Couldn't wish for anything more than what I had, to be honest. Done well at school. And then I wanted to be a hairdresser. So I used to actually go to the hairdressers with my mum, literally every time she went, because I had to. And I remember it's a vivid memory actually. They used to give me, one of the blockheads to,
Yeah.
and I used to practice all the plaits and everything. 6 years old doing French plaits.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I knew I had, something. So then, I actually I did an apprenticeship at a salon in Luton. So I started working there when I was about 14, 15, Saturdays, after school. So I think I worked after school 2 nights a week and a Saturday. And then with an apprenticeship, you go to the college 1 day a week, your assessments are in-house. And then I did that till, I think I worked there full time till I was about 21. And then I decided to go self-employed.
Okay.
And I've basically been a self-employed person ever since because, I just like to be self-employed.
You like
and
to be the boss.
basically.
I get that.
And now that the kids have come along, it just works better in all aspects,
How old are you now?
35.
35, yeah.
Yeah. So I met my husband when I was 20. We got married when I was 25. So we've been married for 11 years this year.
Amazing. Congrats.
Thanks. We had our first child 2017 and second in 2021.
Amazing. So that makes your kids how old? My maths isn't
8
that quick.
and 4.
8 and 4, nice.
Almost 9 and almost 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys, girls?
My eldest is a girl, youngest is a boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. And how's mum life?
It's good. It's hard.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
Yeah.
But it's great. Like, my favourite part of being a mum is just that you can relive your life through them almost when, seeing them see things for the first time.
Yes.
Is just, it's magical.
I'm obviously, as you know, this is
Yes?
actually the first time I'm dropping it on the podcast, but people will know by now that I'm obviously pregnant, as you know.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, like, even as I've been pregnant, like, I'm just wanting, like, I feel really nostalgic already. And like, I'm wanting to, like, listen to music that, like, I listened to when I was really little, and like boy bands that, like, I was, like, obsessed with when I was, like, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, like, why all of a sudden? And my brother said to me, he was like, when he became a parent, he was like, it's just what happens. You just want to, you kind of go back in time. I feel that.
Yeah, and it's, especially Christmas is like,
yes, I can't wait for that.
It's next level of, like, and my eldest is almost at the,
yes,
at the end of it, I reckon. So you just got to grasp
Hang on
onto
to it.
that as long as you can,
Yeah.
because it's magical. But it's you're raising a human to be good. All I want is for them to be good people.
Yeah.
I want them to be successful, but at the same time, I want them to be good people before anything.
Yeah. And that comes from home ultimately, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that is, you've got to work on that.
Yeah.
Because they learn through behaviour.
So, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the reason you're actually on the podcast came off the back of you replying to something that I posted on Instagram. So I was sharing about my journey in 2013 when I was really unwell. I had encephalitis, life-threatening, almost didn't make it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm still here.
Thank
You
you.
replied and you were like, oh my God, I can totally relate. Obviously you didn't go through the same thing, but you have been through something pretty traumatic and, again, life-threatening. And as soon as you told me kind of the summary of it, I was like, you need to come on the podcast and talk about this. I think for so many reasons, just to kind of raise awareness, for one.
Yeah.
And also because you have changed your life so much and how you're living your life now. I just think you'll inspire so many people by sharing the story. So do you want to start from the beginning? What happens?
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back.
Let's get straight in.
I feel like so much has happened.
Yeah,
like,
go right back.
It's kind of right. Okay. So where are we now? 2026, aren't we now?
Yeah.
So 2023.
Okay.
So we're almost 3 years. 3 years ago, April. Yes, it was April time. So I basically started to get unwell. Like, coming down. I'm coming down with something.
Yeah.
And my kids were actually unwell the previous week. So I just kind of assumed, I've picked up what they bring home stuff from school all the time, pick something up. But I basically kind of declined quite rapidly. And I'm a person that touch wood, I don't get sick. I'm not an ill person.
Yeah.
If I get a cold, I'm soldiering through.
Yeah.
Like, no one knows me to be unwell.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, basically started to get this really bad sore throat. And it was to the point where I couldn't swallow. I couldn't speak. Couldn't eat, drink. You know, it was rough.
Yeah.
And when I say sore throat, it was the worst sore throat I'd had in my life.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, you sort of try and soldier through, don't you? And I got to the point where I was actually, you know, you're ill, you go to bed for the day. So my husband had to be off work to look after the kids. Got to like, I think it was the Wednesday, Thursday of that week. And I thought, no, I'm going to book a doctor's appointment, like, because I clearly need to go to the doctors. Anyway, they checked me over. My observations were apparently fine. Checked in my mouth, my throat, because I didn't have white on my throat. They basically said, oh, it's not an infection. Bear in mind, sorry, I should add this very big point here. I wasn't, say you're the doctor, I wasn't talking.
Right.
I had to type it all out.
Because you couldn't
Because
speak.
I could not talk. So it's all written down. Anyway, they gave me throat spray. Didn't give me antibiotics because it wasn't an infection. Okay. So throat spray, painkillers.
That's mad. I just think you couldn't even talk. Okay.
Bear in mind on their notes as well, I'm not a person that goes to the doctors.
Yeah.
I probably haven't been in God knows how many years.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, fine, you trust the doctor, right? So go home, take these painkillers. Just didn't touch the sides. They were just knocking me out for half hour at a time. Went through that whole packet, basically. Went to the doctors. I booked another appointment the next day. I was like, because I was like, it's not doing anything. Went back the next day. Same thing. Just gave me stronger painkillers. No infection. Right. So that was like the Friday. I think it was a Friday, Saturday. Anyway, went to bed the Saturday night, got up the Sunday. Through the Saturday night, whatever was happening to me, my eardrum, now that I know, had perforated.
Right.
So I woke up Sunday morning, my pillow was covered in blood, wax, whatever, you know, you want.
That in itself, though, must have been terrifying.
Yeah. So I said to my husband, I was like, we need to, like, I need to go somewhere. Let's go to urgent care. So not A&E, just the urgent care clinic.
Yeah.
So we're close to Lister Hospital. They've got urgent care at their QE2, which is in Welling. So he's like, all right, okay. So I got my mother-in-law, father-in-law to come over and watch the kids. So gets out of bed, gets dressed, goes downstairs. I didn't say goodbye to the kids because, one, I didn't want them to see how unwell I was. And two, I just, to be honest, my mind I wasn't with it. And that is one of the things I do regret, actually, is not saying goodbye to them at that point. And then, so anyway, we got to urgent care. Sorry, this is a long story, isn't it?
We got plenty of time, babes.
Right. So we get to urgent care at the QE2 in Welling.
Yeah.
Which is probably about 20 minutes from us on the A1M. Get in, go to the desk, telling the person what's wrong. The room was heaving with people. So I said, oh my God, we're going to be here for hours waiting.
Yeah.
Sat down. No sooner we sat down, they called us in.
Okay.
And so we went through, and I actually vomited on the way in, which was kind of a bit, because I hadn't eaten, hadn't drunk anything.
Yeah. Was that the first time you kind of been sick since you felt ill?
First time I've been sick.
Yeah.
So another thing I mentioned, I wasn't actually passing urine either for a day or so, which I thought was, oh, I haven't drunk anything.
Yeah.
So
just dehydrated.
Yeah. Or I got cystitis or something because, I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get in the room, the nurse is there and she's like, right, I think I must have had to explain it, or my husband did. I can't remember, to be honest. Anyway, she took my blood pressure. She couldn't get a reading. She could not find it, basically. And then she said to me, are you always this colour? And I said, what do you mean? She said, your skin is mottled.
God.
And I was like, I obviously I didn't know. I had no mirrors around. She's like, is she always? And he's like, oh yeah, she's, you are. Like, she had patches of white. She said, I'm going to get you on the bed, get your legs up. She said, I think you should be in A&E. So she called the ambulance from there for me.
Okay.
And basically the ambulance came within minutes, took me off to blue lighted me to A&E. And yeah, I remember being in the ambulance, the paramedic, she was saying, oh, you're really lucky that you came today, And I was like, okay, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
why?
know. Just take me to hospital.
Yeah.
And from there, I know I got sent into resus. It was very quick, actually. And I'm so grateful because, you hear all these stories of like, it's waiting in A&E for this many hours.
Yeah.
And this is why I actually, caveat in here, like going off tangent, but this is why I'm kind of glad I went to urgent care first and not straight to A&E, because I feel like if I went to A&E first, I might have been waiting hours, and hours is critical.
Yeah.
Minutes is critical.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that was like something was telling you that.
Yeah. So anyway, we get to the hospital. I was in resus. To be honest, I don't really know what happened there.
Yeah.
Then all I kind of really remember is being in hospital, and yeah, a lot of stuff go on, and now I know what happened. So I kind of came round to life.
Yeah.
And it was when it was the King's Jubilee, right?
Oh, okay.
And I'd missed it all. No,
Yeah.
not the Jubilee. That was the Queen's Jubilee. The King's coronation.
Yeah. I love how I'm
Sorry,
like, yeah.
King's Jubilee.
What? Coronation.
Jubilee. Yeah. King's coronation.
Yeah.
And I'd missed the whole thing. Because, not that I'm a royalist, but
No.
it was a whole thing,
nice
isn't
to
it?
watch,
Everyone
isn't it?
got an extra day off.
Yeah.
The kids had loads of stuff on at school.
Yeah. So actually,
So
you were
I
in
was
hospital on that day.
I was in hospital throughout that whole duration. So
Right.
we're now going forward nearly 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right. So basically what happened to me was that my sore throat was strep A infection,
Okay.
which had got invasive. So it then led up to my ear, which is why caused the eardrum to burst.
Yeah.
But because it was left so long, I got septic shock from that infection.
Right.
Which is the most advanced stage of sepsis. So you've got sepsis, severe sepsis, and septic shock.
Okay.
So sepsis is what happens when it's your body's response to an infection. When it can't fight the when your body can't fight the infection. So basically, what I'm told now is that I went straight up to intensive care on that Sunday when we got there. And I had to have dialysis as well because I had acute kidney injury.
Right.
Basically, my body was shutting down one by one is what was happening. And so from there, and then it got to the stage, I think, where they said to my husband, she's going to have to get induced into a coma because she needs to just be still for anything to happen because like this, she's struggling. Yeah, she's struggling, and he didn't really know what that meant. So he just thought it was like, the oxygen or whatever. He's like, oh, okay. And they was like, we need to sign this, da 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 da. And so I was intubated. They call it lots of things: induced coma, life support, incubator. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. It's interesting though, isn't it? Because when you say those different descriptions, it makes it feels different.
Yeah.
Like if they said to your husband, we need to put her on life support, that's kind of a different feeling to like, we're going to put her into an induced coma, isn't it? It's like it feels calmer when you say it that way.
But ultimately it is. It's a breathing for you.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Surviving
you. Yeah. So during all that as well, so they were obviously working on me the whole time. I had like wires here through my main arteries here.
How long were you in the induced coma?
So they tried to bring me out of it after I was in it for 3 days,
Okay.
apparently. And what they did was they just kind of turned everything off.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it was just I just went like mental,
Yeah.
basically, because it was too much, couldn't
Yeah.
breathe.
Yeah.
So then they had to put me back under.
Yeah.
So then I think they left it another 4 days. And then what they did the next time was they weaned it all off.
Mm-hmm.
So I was weaned off the sedatives. So by the time they took the tube out, I knew that I had it. So I was kind of communicating, but I couldn't talk. I was
Okay.
using hands and
You could understand, you could hear.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
was quite with it
Mm.
when they then took the whole thing out.
Okay.
Because that was obviously better for me that I was
Yeah.
aware.
Yeah.
So yeah, they took that out, but then it is a shock because then you're then having to breathe for yourself.
Yeah.
So I had to wear the nebulizer for that day, but then by that evening I was like off
You're
of
okay.
everything.
Do you remember the feeling, like when they took everything out and took, like, how were
What,
you
the
feeling at the
first
time?
time or the second
That
time?
time then?
Yeah, it was scary
Mm.
because you're actually having to think about breathing.
Yeah.
You don't think about breathing,
Yeah.
so you're having to think about it, and it's quite
Scary.
it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um but yeah, so but it's so in my memory, it's so bitty. Like I remember stuff,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell you in a timeline where that happened.
Yeah. It's all just one big
Yeah.
chunk.
So yeah, I remember things that happened, but I can't tell you when, why
Yeah.
or what.
Yeah. There's probably an element of also kind of self-protection in that,
Yeah,
isn't there, I think?
but I definitely had like the delirium that they talk about.
Yeah.
I think because all the drugs
Uh-huh.
that you just absolutely on everything. They're
Yeah.
doing everything to keep you alive.
Exactly. Whatever it takes.
So
So you came out of it.
yeah, came out of it. And my throat was so sore, but that was because of the tube.
Yeah.
So then couldn't eat properly. All
Mhm.
the meals were because obviously I was being fed through a
Yeah.
nutrition drip for the last
Yeah.
God knows however long. I tell you what though, my skin was the
Yeah.
best it's ever been in
Was
my
it?
life. Yes,
From all the nutrients they were giving you?
I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Every
bit
cloud,
dry. It was a
right?
bit dry. Like my lips were dry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my skin looks
Yeah. I look great.
unbelievable.
Glowing.
Yeah, it wasn't glowing, but yeah. But yeah, so it was very hard. Yeah, so then kind of came back. I then spent 3 extra days in intensive care.
Yeah.
I was just so desperate to get home though at that
Mm.
point that I would have done anything to get home.
So this was what, 2 weeks all in all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they had to do these certain things before I was let home. I had
Yeah.
to have an ECG
Uh-huh.
because showed your heart when you came in was that of an old, ill, dying person.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Luckily it was then kind of fine.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
scary.
they did make it very clear that like, you almost
Yeah.
did not. And they had to tell that to my family as well.
Yeah.
That
It's so
the
scary.
infection markers were so high, and then some days I'd be good and then some days I'd be bad.
Yeah.
And
How did, how did they miss that from the beginning? Like, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had
Mhm.
with people where that has
Same.
been the story.
Same. Since I've obviously told people about it, they've said that, about like same with their children. I think that's your child. I
Yeah.
think when it's your child, like,
Something's not right.
yeah. Well, even yourself, but
Yeah.
especially with your children,
Hmm.
you.
Yeah. I think with yourself as well, you can sometimes feel like, I'm sure something's wrong, but then
But you
am I
want
just
to,
overthinking
yeah.
it?
And because I don't get I don't get ill.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be fine in a couple of
Yeah.
days. I'll just sleep it off.
Yeah. It's like you said, you trust the doctor.
Of course you do, because that's what
That's the
they're
whole
there
other,
for.
yeah. I won't
I
say
tell
too
you,
much on that.
yeah, but the hospital doctors and nurses out of this
Yeah.
world, like
NHS of,
they were
yeah.
like, honestly saved my
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
like genuinely saved my life, and yeah, like couldn't be couldn't be more grateful, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's the thing with the NHS. I know that it gets a lot of like stick in certain ways, but
yeah.
anyone that I've spoken to who's been through a life-threatening
Mhm.
emergency, they have, including myself,
Yeah.
they have smashed it.
Yeah.
So we've got to be thankful for that.
100%. But yeah, I think one of the most vivid things that sticks with me about, I was saying about, I don't know what happened when in the
Yeah.
timeline, but I think this must have been, I've pieced it together, it must have been when the nurse came in and she was asking me, she's like, I think she said something like, do you give me permission to contact your husband because I need something. They never told me I was going into a coma,
Okay.
like, unless they did and I just completely
One.
had no
Yeah.
recollection. And I said no. I was like, no, because I just was like, I thought in my delirious state, I thought they were giving me like a lethal injection, like
Right.
what you would give to an animal to
Okay.
put them to sleep.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Oh God.
Yeah. So then she came back again and she was like, she's like, darling, I'm gonna have to, we're gonna have to contact your husband. I was like, it's okay. And then she was giving me this injection, which felt like it was in my back, but
Hmm.
it probably wasn't. I think it was probably like, it honestly, it was just such a weird, spaced out
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And she was telling me, she's saying to me, so how many children have you got? And I was like, two. And then I was like, why are you asking me? Why are you
Mm.
asking me that? She's like, oh, she was obviously trying to take my mind off of whatever
Yes.
she was doing.
Yeah.
And then she was like, how old are they? And I was like, at the time they were 6 and 1,
Yeah.
5 and 1, 6 and 1, I think. Yeah, because my son was almost 2. So they were so little then, especially my
Yeah.
son. So it's 6 and 1. And she was like, who's the older one? And I couldn't remember, just couldn't
Really.
remember.
Yeah.
Um, but what stuck with me is I thought she was putting this lethal injection in me and
Mm.
she wanted my last thoughts to be of my children. That's genuinely,
Really.
yeah. And I was fighting
Wow.
it so much because I was like, I need to get home. Like, all you think about in those situations is your family.
Yeah.
Like,
What's going to happen?
yeah. And
Yeah.
I was like, when you think about it, it's like, does it matter like what car you're driving, what clothes
Mm.
you're wearing, what trainers you've got? I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
hypocrite because I do love like
We all
trainers,
love
but
it. Yeah.
like you
I know
you
exactly what you're
literally, yeah,
saying.
you literally, until you've been in that situation, I think you genuinely don't actually realize,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. There's so many bigger things to worry about
yeah,
than, like, I even think that on a day-to-day
yeah,
basis now. I'm like,
yeah,
we sit here and we overthink and we worry about this related to this and that, when actually
it's just
none of it is
nothing. It
relevant
is
at all.
not in the slightest,
Yeah,
but you do forget that
you do.
the longer it goes on,
Yes.
you do get stuck back into the
Yeah.
rut, and you do forget.
100%. And that's why I love having these conversations,
Mm.
because every time I have a conversation like this, especially
Yeah,
one like today,
yeah,
it's like, no, that's that reminder.
yeah.
And we need that.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. And I think,
Like,
yeah,
I was just like, I could be in a tent with them in the wilderness, but as long as I was back with them,
yeah,
that was all that mattered.
yeah. I think when you
That's
have kids, it is,
Yeah,
everything changes, doesn't it?
yeah, that is all that mattered in that moment in
Uh
time,
huh.
and well, always will be.
Yeah.
But
Even more so
especially in that
now.
moment in time,
Yeah.
that's all that mattered to
Yeah.
me. Yeah,
Wow. Okay. So you came out of the coma.
yeah.
You were later that evening, you were then starting to feel
Later that
better.
evening, I wasn't feeling better.
Okay.
Um, but well, compared to, yeah. So I was
Yeah.
breathing for myself. It was a struggle because my husband had my phone the whole time and I couldn't even read.
Hmm.
Like, and the nurse the next morning actually asked me, she was like, oh, now that you're, do you want your husband to bring some bits in from home, like knickers and,
Yeah.
human clothes
Yeah.
and stuff? So, oh, okay, so I'll get you some paper, you can write a list and that. I was like, oh, fine. And I couldn't, like, my brain couldn't, like, I just
Couldn't
couldn't write.
write.
I could write, but it was like it was the first time I'd written anything in my
Yeah.
life.
Mm.
Felt so, you know, out of the
Just like
ordinary
foreign.
to write.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I remember having my book there from when I first came in because I thought I'd be reading. hospital. And I did try and pick it
Wishful
up.
thinking.
Yeah, I did try and pick it up and kind of write, I'll read to pass the time. And I'm a reader. I
Yeah.
love to read. And
Yeah.
I'm a fast reader.
Uh-huh.
I just couldn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it wasn't till the day after that, I think my husband gave me my phone back. And it was like I was a celebrity.
Yeah.
Honestly, I told you all
Everyone
these
loves me.
messages, and
Yeah.
it was lovely. Actually, I had my friends messaging me like every day,
Yeah.
while I was in the coma.
Uh-huh.
My friends still sending me reels, as you do on Instagram to each other. So
Yeah.
I want you to look at all these when you
Did you have
wake up.
any memory issues when you woke up?
Yeah, I still struggle with that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was it? Short-term memory, long-term memory, bit of both?
Short term, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had really bad. I think mine was obviously brain specific. So
Yes.
my memory was actually
Yeah.
really severely
Yeah.
disturbed. But I always think to this day, I'm like, is my memory now still being affected by that? Or was my memory just a bit like this
Yeah.
before? Like, it's hard to,
You just
you
don't
don't
never
know.
know, do you?
You don't know.
You never know. And I do believe mine has contributed to it.
Mm.
I've got baby brain that I still call it baby brain.
Yeah. Apparently that never
5 years
goes.
later.
Can't wait for that to add to it.
Yeah, and and then you hear about the stages that how old we are in life as women. Does that
Uh-huh.
contribute to it?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, has sepsis contributed to it? Because there is
Yeah.
such a thing as post-sepsis syndrome, which the doctors don't recognise really.
Right.
I'm in this group on Facebook, which
Yeah.
is the UK Sepsis Trust. It's their charity.
Mm-hmm.
They run the Facebook page, and everyone's very similar on there in regards to their memory.
Okay.
And a lot of people, I actually feel really lucky because I'm one of the lucky ones where I don't really have what I would call long lasting
Yeah.
effects. Like I do notice I do get fatigued quite easily.
Yeah.
Which is probably not great in the line of work I do, but
Yeah. It's
that actually
hard.
helps actually, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's the doctors they don't really recognize it as a thing.
God,
So they're
that's
trying to,
crazy.
yeah.
But thank God for things like Facebook groups and stuff like
Yes.
that, because there are so many people
Yeah.
who go through similar things, and it's so important to have that community of people.
Yeah.
You can talk to your friends, you can talk to your family, but if they've not been through
No.
something similar, it's hard.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can talk about.
And with septic shock, what I had is a lot of people that have that actually lose limbs because,
Really?
because where your body is fighting to repair itself, your I'm not very scientific here, but your skin and your hair and like your tissues
Yeah.
kind of get left till last
Right.
because they are the kind of least important in regards to your organs and
Yes.
everything. So your
Yeah.
body's trying to get to your heart, your lungs, everything else.
Uh-huh.
So what happens to people is their tissues die, and then they have to be amputated. And it's very common. And I'm just so
Thank God that didn't happen.
grateful that
Yeah.
that didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
I did lose a lot of hair actually, sort of about 3-4 months on,
Uh-huh.
which is really common.
Yeah.
Like, the same sort of thing where like after like postpartum as well, people lose hair. It's a similar thing. It's like
Yeah.
a trauma to the body.
Yes.
And then that happens.
But I guess in the bigger picture, losing a bit of hair, you probably thought,
Losing the hair,
that's all
yeah.
right.
But then I did think, "Ugh, what else are you gonna
Mm.
like do to me?
Did you have that fear? Were you okay, hold on. So rewind a little bit.
Sorry,
So
yeah.
you came out of hospital soon after that,
Right.
was it?
So yeah, I was in hospital for like 3 more days. And then the
Okay.
protocol is you then go to a ward. So obviously because I was in
Okay.
intensive care, I had my own room.
Yeah.
But the wards were full, which is why I kind of stayed in intensive care longer
Right.
than I needed to be.
Yeah.
So I wasn't being monitored anymore. So when I was in the car, I was being monitored 24/7.
Mhm.
Like, so I had a nurse there apparently at my bedside
All the time.
the whole time.
Yeah.
So I didn't go off to the ward. So then I started having the physio ladies come round. And I remember the physio lady came, she's like, right, we're gonna try and get you out of bed and that. And I was like, oh, all right then.
Yeah.
Thinking I'm just gonna Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I
Yeah.
couldn't even get out. I couldn't even sit up.
Mm. God.
And I was like, oh my God, really?
Yeah.
She's like, well, yeah. She's like, you've been, because you've been in here for so long, so much has happened. Been in intensive care. I think, I can't remember the statistic, but your muscle wastes, I think it's like 2 to 5% a day being in
Wow.
intensive care.
I didn't realize it was that
And I
that
remember my
intense.
legs. I've always had like, my legs have always been bigger and like quite strong. Remember my leg muscle, it was literally like indented, like
Really?
because it was just wastage.
Yeah. Wow.
Couldn't even stand. I had to have a Zimmer frame for a
Yeah.
while. Um, but yeah, eventually I was walking around my little room, um, with the Zimmer frame. They got me
Uh-huh.
to sit in the chair, but to be honest, the chair was really uncomfortable. Just wanted to be back in bed, to be
Yeah.
honest with
More
you.
comfortable
More
there.
comfortable. And then yeah, so they eventually discharged me from intensive care.
Yeah.
As it got to the weekend, it was the Friday, and I was like, no, because they will not discharge me over a weekend. I'm not being here
Okay.
over the weekend any longer. It was 12, I think it was 12 days by this point.
Right.
And I basically begged them to let me go home.
Yeah.
The agreement was like, if you have anything high, even a high temperature, you
Uh-huh.
you come straight back. So I was like, okay. And then went home. They wanted to know how my home life was. And I said, look, I've got a toilet and a sink downstairs. If I need to wash and go toilet in there,
Yeah.
like I can. I
Yeah.
don't have to go up the stairs because at this point I couldn't go up the stairs
Just you're
really.
so weak.
So weak.
Yeah.
Like that was the hardest part for me.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't even, like your deodorant,
Yeah.
I couldn't push.
Really.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
effort to
Yeah.
push the can.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was just
Gosh.
building back from there, basically.
So you when you went
Yeah.
home, did you have to do any like at home recovery stuff?
Yeah, but funny enough, they didn't really give me anything in particular to do. It
Yeah.
was more of a get on with
Just get on with
it,
it.
really.
Yeah. That's I think that's the bit where so many things can go so wrong.
Yeah.
Like that it's the aftercare. Like I was
Mm,
having a conversation with one of my good friends who had childhood cancer,
gosh.
and luckily like she's fine
Yeah.
now. But like it was the aftercare. Like luckily she managed to sort things out as she kind of got
Mm,
on with it. But like it was the aftercare that was always like,
yeah. I
so
think with
what now?
anything, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I was quite fortunate for me. I was recommended, I went to like a proper like rehab place because I
Mhm.
really had to like, I was extremely weak as well. I
Mm,
don't remember being so weak in the sense of like, for example, the deodorant bottle. I don't
mm.
remember that kind of feeling. But like even just like walking down the street and like I had to learn how to
Yeah,
walk properly.
yeah,
I had to learn like all
yeah.
this stuff. I did go to a rehab place
Mhm.
and I had like a good, I think I was in there for maybe 3 weeks. Um so I did have quite a bit of
Mm,
stuff going on there, which really, really helped
mm.
me. But that's not common. That's not a normal
No,
aftercare process.
no,
And why not?
I know.
Like thank God you went home and you've made
Yeah.
a full recovery and you're
Aftercare
fine.
wise, I did have to keep going back for my ear
Okay.
because what happened to it and that, and I,
Yeah.
I actually, I lost my hearing for a while in that
Did
ear.
you?
Um, the infection literally took ages to
Hmm.
clear. Tinnitus
Yeah.
was, still have tinnitus
Do you?
now.
I was going to ask, do you have any late
Yes.
effects of it now?
Yeah, but at that time I had like pulsating tinnitus,
Right.
which is basically where you hear your heartbeat
Oh God.
all the time,
That must be
and it
so much.
drove me round the bend,
Yeah.
especially when you're in bed, because all you
Yes.
hear is just this boom, 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 boom,
That would drive me
along with the ringing.
insane.
I had both, the ringing
Yeah.
and that. And then I would say it took a good 8 months for the pulsating to go.
Wow.
Still have the ringing, but I would rather the ringing than that pulsating
Yeah.
because that was really,
Yeah.
really debilitating, actually.
God.
Yeah.
Do you have the ringing all the
I
time?
have, yes, but I'm not hearing it now because of we're
Okay.
talking,
Yeah.
and so, but when I go to bed, I hear it. But do you know what? They say you become habitualized, and I
Yeah.
have.
Really?
That's just
You
just
just
what
is
I
what it
hear.
is. Yeah.
I don't know what silence sounds like anymore
Gosh.
because it's been so long.
That's a lot though, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, but if it's just that after everything that's happened,
Yeah. In the bigger
I'll
picture,
take
it's
it.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you know what? I
it's
think
nothing, is
that's
it?
such a great point, and I think but also it's important to go, yeah, but also that's still a big deal, right?
Yeah, it's unfair that it possibly could. The whole thing could have been prevented, but equally, if that hadn't have happened to me, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be where I am now.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
Everything does do you
of
believe? Are you a believer and
course,
everything happens
of
for a reason?
course,
Yeah.
yeah.
It really
It really
does.
does because
Yeah.
yeah, I'd still be doing. I wouldn't be sat here now.
No.
Literally, would not be sat here now.
No. And I think
So,
at the time, I always say this, at the time when you're going through something so traumatic,
mm,
you can't fathom it's all right, it's happening for a reason.
yeah.
But when you look back,
Oh,
you
reflection,
always see
hundred
it.
percent.
You
Yeah.
always see it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I didn't. Of course, I felt like I never felt like, oh, why me? I didn't
Mm.
feel like why me, but
Mhm.
I was disappointed, and I did feel really let down by the
Yeah. And
GP.
rightly so.
Um, Especially the fact that I did go back 2 days on the trot as
Yeah.
well, and
Do you know what
you
happens in
know,
those situations? Like, because obviously you then would have been diagnosed with what you were
we
diagnosed with.
we did get so apparently during the GP did contact my husband, and asked a few questions, and they did have to refer back to the GP that saw me to ask her questions
Mhm.
of like, oh, so, and apparently, yeah, like, because my observations were fine and da da da, yeah, nothing really came of it.
Nothing comes of
We
it.
did look into it, but because it's NHS, like you just, it's so, there's such a grey area
Yeah.
of, not even compensation, just the whole
Yeah. And it's not,
thing.
compensation, yeah, great, but it's not even that, is it? You're
No,
just like,
and then
it's my life here.
I just thought, oh, I just haven't got the fight in me to do it at that time.
Yeah.
You get 3 years.
Yeah.
It's almost been 3 years,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just one of them. It's just for me, it's probably more about raising awareness now of
The symptoms
the
and everything.
symptoms,
Yeah.
and I'm finding that it's actually becoming more common because of the state of the NHS,
Right.
because people aren't being seen,
Mhm.
or people like me are going, oh no, I don't want to burden them.
Yeah.
I'll get over it or
Yeah.
whatever.
Or I'm never sick. Must not
Yeah,
be anything
yeah.
serious.
Or they are, all the GPs that they've got this big thing about antibiotic resistance and things like that.
Mhm.
Don't take too many
Mhm.
antibiotics because you will become resistant.
Yes.
So they don't like to give them out
Yeah.
and so forth. But
Yeah.
yeah, you just need to know the symptoms really.
Yeah.
I should have rehearsed them, shouldn't I? The
Yeah,
symptoms.
reel them
We'll
all
get
off.
them on the phone in a minute
Yeah, but you
so
know
we
what
can talk about them.
I find difficult because symptoms there are so many crossovers, aren't there? And
Mm,
like you can Google anything and think you're going to die.
this is it.
And it's
Yeah.
like, but then if you do know all of the symptoms, so if you know that you've got this, and this, at least you can then go to the doctor and be like, look, I've done some research. Because at least then if you've done the research and you bring the idea into their head, maybe that then will trigger something
Yeah.
to be
So
tested.
they do actually say now, so the UK Sepsis Trust do kind of, um, their message is to say, just ask, could it be sepsis?
Yeah.
Even if you just ask
Uh-huh.
the doctor, the hospital,
Yeah.
because, it might not be on their radar
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
But if
Exactly.
you
Which,
ask them,
yeah.
it could be. There's also this new law that's come in where you can get a second opinion. That
Mm-hmm.
was due to a sepsis
Okay.
case as well.
Yeah. So it's
Um,
common.
yeah,
Wow.
it's actually the number one killer, sepsis, before even before like cancer,
Really?
Yeah.
And is that from misdiagnosis from the start?
Yeah, I think it's just because of, so you can't like, because people say, oh, sepsis, it's a awful disease. It's not, you can't catch it.
No.
It's what happens to you when you have an infection. It could be bacterial,
Yeah.
um, any type of infection, it
Yeah.
can lead to that.
Uh-huh. Develops into it.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get confused and they think, oh, it's through a cut, it's blood poisoning. It's
Mm.
not.
Mm.
It's not that at all. It's your body's response to an infection
Mhm.
when it can't. It's working overdrive to try and keep you alive.
Yeah.
It's basically what it's doing. Yeah.
God. Well, hopefully that information alone kind of will
Yeah.
help
So
people,
everyone get onto the UK Sepsis Trust
Yeah.
to spot the symptoms,
Yeah.
because
Maybe we'll put at the bottom of the episode, we'll have like a
yes,
list. We'll just
we'll
write
do
it all
that.
down.
I know that I is it feels like you're going to die.
Okay.
That is, yeah.
Bloody
So
hell.
it's SEPSIS, and each
Okay.
one has a
Yeah. Okay.
symptom.
We'll write that. We'll get that.
Yeah.
We'll get that in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about life now then,
Yeah.
because we've spoke at the beginning, you made a big career change, your priorities have obviously
Yeah.
changed and everything. So you got back to life after you started feeling better.
Mm.
Because 3 years ago isn't that long ago, really, in the bigger
No,
picture, is it?
no.
What was there like a pivotal moment which made you go, right, I need to make some changes here? Or was it kind of just a natural progression
So the pivotal
throughout?
moment came when I was in the hospital bed,
Okay.
and I said to my husband, I was like, I'm not hairdressing anymore.
Mhm.
He was like, okay.
Mhm. Yeah. And was that what was the actual thought like if there was a specific thought process
So
towards that?
it stemmed from before.
Okay.
So let's call it at the start of 2023.
Yeah.
So let's call it January.
Yeah.
I was feeling overworked.
Yeah.
It's all down to me. I was self-employed. It was my fault. Not my fault, but
Yeah. You're owning it.
Yeah, I had a 1-year-old. So he was obviously at home with me all the time. He didn't go to nursery or anything. So I
Uh-huh.
was a full-time mum in
Yeah.
essence. My daughter, she had just started school.
Mhm.
Was she in year one into, I don't know, reception year one, so
Yeah.
very early school. Had my son, I'll be honest and open. I found the ages between 1 and 2 for my kids. Both of them was the hardest
Really?
age so
Uh-huh.
far. Everyone
Yeah.
tells me it only gets worse as they're teenagers. That bit's a breeze.
Worry
I'm
about
like,
that
okay,
later.
worry about that when I get there.
Yeah.
Just let me be here at the
Yeah.
minute. So yeah, age between 1 and 2, I found very tough. And yeah, my son was at that tough age. And I could only work on weekends. So I'd work every Saturday
Mhm.
all day. I'd work 2, 3 evenings a week. So what happened was my husband would come in at 6 o'clock. I had salon in my garage
Yeah.
basically. So I literally just worked,
Yeah.
across the driveway. It was
Nice.
lovely.
Yeah.
But he'd get home, we'd be passing ships, he'd get in, I'd go out there till 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
It's not sustainable.
No.
And I also was doing a bit of work for his company where he works. I
Mhm.
was doing a bit of their work. On the evenings I wasn't working out in the salon. So I was essentially on job from, you know, 6 a.m. to 10
Non-stop.
p.m. And some
It's a
people can
lot.
handle it. I can't.
Yeah, but it's not
I couldn't.
it's not sustainable though. Even
No.
if okay, yes, some people could handle it short term
Short
maybe.
term, exactly. So
Yeah,
yeah, I was handling it until I wasn't.
exactly.
And that is, so now I am mindful of when it's getting too much
Yeah.
in life, but equally I still am trying to push myself.
Mm.
It's just that fine
You
line,
got to
isn't
find the
it?
balance, and I think you know that within you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like that. It's taken me a really long
Yeah.
time to get to this
Yeah.
point, but I know for a fact, like I just know how I start to feel internally. Like
Yeah.
I feel anxiety
Mhm.
creeps up.
Mhm.
I start to feel like my brain is like brain fog to like next
Yeah.
level, constantly on the go, like an overwhelming feeling like in my brain. That's
Yeah.
like the only way I can kind of
Yeah.
describe it. And
Like you can't catch a breath.
no,
Like if one more thing is fired at you, like, that's
Yes.
it.
And you feel like you're gonna snap at, like,
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, as long as you recognize those
Mhm.
warning signs, and
Mm.
then you just kind of, even all it takes often is just taking, like, a day,
Yeah.
just take a day to take a step back. Um, but I think where, you're similar age to me, I'm a
Yeah.
year older than
Mm.
you, and, like, we very much grew up with this whole hustle culture vibe
Mm.
where, like, it was cool and trendy to be on the go all the time, and,
Yeah.
like, especially as a woman, like, I've got my own business, I'm
Mm.
making it work for myself, whether you're married or not, like,
Yeah.
I'm doing my own thing. And it's unlearning all of that bullshit,
Yeah.
because that's what we kind of grew up as women thinking that we should be doing.
And it's almost, I'm not blaming the boomer generation, but, they never, "Oh, what are you sitting down for?" They
Yeah.
never sat down.
Yeah.
I don't sit down.
Yeah. What are you
Like,
complaining for?
why are you not allowed to sit down?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is wrong with sitting?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And then what does that, going back to having
Like,
kids, like, what does that then teach your children?
it's
You know?
it is so hard, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so, and it's that's another layer to it. It's the kind of unlearning what you what you are to then
Mm.
teach them, but then ultimately you find it does creep back in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so hard.
It is hard. And,
Yeah.
no, none of us are perfect, are
No,
we? Like, we're all gonna
exactly.
do do things and go through things. And I think, like you said, just finding that balance and being able to recognize within yourself, I think, especially because you've been through what you've been
Mhm.
through, like, it's really interesting, because I see a lot of similarities in everything that you're talking
Mm.
about. With I can relate, and I have probably like a handful of friends, people that I know who have been through something
Mm.
like what we're talking about
Yeah.
today. And there are so many similarities
Mm.
between all of our thought processes. And you have conversations with people who have never been through something like that, and it's just not the same. It's like it's a different level of understanding of life
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
priorities and what really
Yeah.
matters. And you don't ever want to wish upon anybody to go through something like what we've been
No.
through. But when you have, you just see life in such a different
Yeah.
way. And I
Yeah.
think it's so important to talk about that and, like, pay that forward to
Mm.
hopefully inspire people to just make those little
Yeah.
changes.
And it's when I mean, I get it now, like 3 years on, but I think when I came out of hospital, things really bugged me when people would be really moaning about trivial
Yes.
things. Just
Yeah.
like, God,
Yeah.
like,
Go for it. It's
get
fine.
over it, or just,
Gossiping about things and
yeah, just, oh,
yeah. Okay, so
enough.
enough. No more. So you had your pivotal moment in
Yeah,
hospital.
basically, yeah.
No more hairdressing.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
So yeah, decided that, and so sorry, yeah, we went off on a tangent, didn't
Yeah,
we? So
I like
basically,
a tangent.
so it was leading up. It was leading up. I was, because I was working so much,
Yeah.
and I was falling out of love with it,
Yeah.
which is a shame
Uh-huh.
because I like to think I was, quite
Yeah.
good. I had regular clients, but I believe if you don't love something, you know,
Yeah.
I, I can't. I'm not going to do that anymore because
Yeah.
I don't want to give someone a half-assed
Uh-huh.
experience of,
100%.
you know, when you get your hair done, you want
Yeah.
that person to be wholeheartedly in it, don't you? And I
100%.
just felt like I couldn't give that anymore.
Yeah.
So obviously I had to text them all, and they were
Yeah.
all very, very supportive, but very much like, oh, like, I'm sure you'll change your mind, or you'll
Yeah.
be okay, we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Or would you not just do me? No.
Mm.
So I just actually was off work from, so I came out of hospital May 2023. I couldn't work anyway, wasn't strong enough. So
Uh-huh.
it took me a good few months to even be able to walk
Yeah.
properly again. I love walking. I love being outside. I love
Yeah.
walking, and it took a long time even getting up the stairs. It was so frustrating because I got to a point as well in my mind. I was like, I can run up them stairs like I
Mm.
always do, but my body just was not doing it,
Yeah.
and it was so
Mm.
frustrating. So yeah, that day that I could run up them stairs, I
Yeah.
was like, not that I'm encouraging people to run up the stairs, but that's just how I get
Yeah.
up them, just
Yeah.
run up the stairs.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, had that pivotal moment, didn't work for a while. So then January 2024, I still wasn't working at this point actually. I saw an advert on Instagram
Yeah.
for reformer
Yeah.
Pilates at Studio 281.
Uh-huh.
And I think must have opened the wellness studio at the back,
Yes.
probably in that September, October
Yeah. End of the
2023.
year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
23?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years? 3 years? 2 years.
Because it was there when I came in the January 24.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was October or
Yeah.
November 23.
So then I looked into the gym more and saw that it was all, the ride studio
Mhm.
and the functional fitness and
Yeah.
everything. So just went one Saturday morning with my neighbour. We went together. We did Metcon on Saturday
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
And basically that's been it from
The rest is
from
history.
there. No, so
Okay.
yeah, that was January 2024.
Yeah.
Months went by and I thought, "Do you know what? I want to be a ride instructor. I want to do
Yeah.
instructing."
Is that how it started? Ride instructing? That was your
No,
first.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
more the ride because it's a bit more
Yeah.
interactive, I would say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love ride and just I loved that I could actually exercise in the group. I love the group
Yes.
environment of it all,
Uh-huh.
I would never have been that motivated to just turn up at the gym
Yeah.
and, or even with a plan on my phone, I just wouldn't have got it done.
Yeah.
I love the group atmosphere and the group
Yeah.
vibes. And then by the summer that year, I decided I would do a course.
Mhm.
So I signed up for, it's an online course,
Mhm.
but you did a lot, it was a lot of video work, a lot
Mhm.
of in touch with the tutors,
Yeah.
things like that. Had to send off, your assessments, everything. And the actual, once I'd qualified that, they offered me the spin instructing. Indoor cycling is the correct indoor
Okay.
cycling qualification,
Yeah.
which I actually did go to London to do that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so by was it qualified by? I'd probably say mid 2024.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't feel right. Mid 2025. What are we now? Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Before
last
then.
year. So my first class at the studio was 30th of July 2025.
Was it? Why do I
Yeah.
feel like you've been there so much longer?
Probably because I was a member for longer.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I
No, I
would
feel like you've been
say,
part of the team for
yeah,
like
I would
ages.
say, yeah, 6 months.
God, I feel like it was so much
Yeah,
longer than that.
yeah, 6 months.
Okay.
So yeah, it just kind of transpired. Like
Yeah.
Ilona said to me, what do you want to do? Like I was like, I'd like to teach.
Yeah.
Then it just started as cover because one of the other instructors moved away,
Yeah.
so I was covering kind of her classes, and then yeah, it just kind of worked from there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then so
so
what are you doing now? You teach ride.
do ride every other Wednesday evening,
Yeah.
and then Metcon every Wednesday
Metcon every
evening,
Wednesday.
and then a Saturday morning, 2 classes every Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and then now I'm doing the Pilates
Yes.
qualification.
Yes. Love it. Adding
Just to
another
add another
string.
load
Yeah.
onto the life. But yeah, adding another string to the bow.
Yeah.
Don't know where that will take me,
Yeah.
but I'm in that kind of lane of, what happens with it happens with
Yeah.
it.
But I think that's
Mm.
so great. Like I think like for me when I did my PT course initially, which was what 2018 or something, I did it just to get a bit of knowledge.
Mhm.
Like I was always into the fitness and everything. I
Yeah.
was always going to the gym, but I literally did it. I didn't have any kind of plan, like
Okay.
business
Yeah.
plan. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
just going to do it. I was working in events at the time. I'm just going to do it because I'm intrigued. I'm interested. And then it just so happened that like a year later, a year and a half later, lockdown happened and my other business couldn't do anything. So then I started
Ah,
my PT business and then that was the start of
that's where
that.
it came from.
Yeah, but I think it's so important to have like to just do the courses,
If I've got
do the
the opportunity
qualifications.
there, then I've got to take it. I mean,
Exactly.
this Georgia, she's now got her own training
Yeah.
academy
Yeah.
with the studio. It's there on a plate.
Yeah.
Like, it would be silly of me
Yeah.
not to take the opportunity to do it.
Exactly. And like you said, you don't have to do anything with it now, but you might want to in
Exactly.
5 years'
If
time.
it's there, it's there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just get left behind.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
it's just it's nice to have the options, isn't
Of
isn't
course.
it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you find your career now in comparison to your hairdressing days?
Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do some admin work as well, at home,
Yeah.
like in school hours, 3 days a week.
Mhm.
I would love to become eventually more, just gym based,
Uh-huh.
one day Pilates based
Yep.
eventually. That is probably the goal
Okay,
for
cool.
me.
Yeah.
Now that like both my kids are at school now, so I've
Yeah.
got the time in that day
Uh-huh.
to be
To
free.
do that. Yeah.
To be free.
Yeah. To be free.
So yeah, that is what I would like.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I
But
love that.
equally I'm a very much whatever happens now.
Yeah. Just go
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Love that.
See whether the wave
Yeah.
takes us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else do you do kind of, because I know you do quite a lot to look after yourself in general. What would you say are like your top habits or like your top things that you do
Top
daily,
habits.
weekly?
Well,
Exercise. Yeah.
exercise. Yeah. So 4 times a week is the rule.
Okay.
But I'm not being hard on myself. I must do this that's just how it works out, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I teach ride like twice a week. So that's basically 2 days gone.
Yeah.
And then I've actually done High Rocks competition in December, and yesterday
Yes. Let's talk
did
about yesterday.
affects.
Yeah.
So you have to train for these things, otherwise, I mean,
Anyone listening, what is Ethics?
affects is a fitness competition, sponsored by Adidas.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great competition. They actually change their workouts every year. So what they base it on is they have like a strength zone, endurance zone, and a metcon zone.
Mm-hmm.
So you can work in pairs or you can do singles. All of us is in the studio, we did it in pairs.
Mm-hmm.
We was all in our own heat. So that was lovely. So we
That's
was
so
only
cool.
competing against each other. There was 64
That's
of
mad,
us, if
isn't it?
I'm
64.
correct. So yeah, strength
Wow.
zone, basically you had your 1 rep max for your strict press, which is however much you can lift in
Yep.
1 rep, which then went into your back squat, 3 rep max, and then deadlift 5 rep max, and you
Yeah.
get 6 minutes per lift combined.
Okay.
So you just got to get it you're done, and then your score is your total for your pairs.
Yep.
That's your score.
Okay.
Endurance was rowing and running
Yeah.
for 22 minutes, swapping out with your partner.
Yep.
So partner 1 goes on a 750 meters,
Yeah.
comes back, swaps with the partner rowing for 22 minutes. That was actually my hardest, I
Yeah.
have to say. I
Yeah.
thought I'd be okay because of doing a lot of running at the minute, but
Yeah.
I feel like because it was there was no rest
Uh-huh.
whatsoever.
Mm.
You would just either rowing or
Just
that was
constant.
hard.
And that was
Yeah.
after the strength, was it?
After the strength, you
Yeah.
get 10 minutes after the strength.
Yep.
And then after that, you get half an hour recovery before you go into your metcon zone,
Okay.
which there was these lovely chairs and the massage
Yeah.
legs
Lovely.
and, refuel. You could get drinks and things.
Yeah.
But the metcon was where I thrive. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
That's what you love the most.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just maxing out.
Yeah.
And we did well. We enjoyed it.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
good. So lots of exercise, basically. That's what you
Yes,
thrive
but
on.
I actually know and I need to incorporate more Pilates
Okay.
into my week, even if it's just 1 a week,
Yeah.
because my exercise is so high intensity.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I'm just,
Yes.
but I feel great doing the exercise.
Yeah.
It's like
You release all the endorphins, don't
really,
you?
and just any anxiety, like I find, especially in ride, like anything you've got inside, you can literally just release it on those
Yeah.
bikes. And I really feel
Uh-huh.
like trying to say to the team as well when they're riding, just let it all, just let
Yeah.
everything you've got inside, just let it out
Yeah.
here, because you can,
You can, yeah. It's such a I do think all the different types of exercises do give such a different
Yeah.
feeling and
Oh my
reward.
gosh,
Like I
definitely.
find with reformer, it's the like out of everything, it's the only exercise or class that I will ever do where I fully don't think about anything else.
Because you
You
can't.
can't. You got to concentrate
Mhm.
so hard on what you're doing
Yeah.
and all the different movements and
And
stuff.
the breath
The breath,
helps because
exactly.
you're having to breathe properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, when you're doing strength or you're in the gym or you're having a PT session or even in ride where you're
Mm,
letting it all out, you're
mm.
still very aware of what you're
Oh,
letting
and it's
out.
so high intensity, your
Yeah.
heart rate is, whereas in Pilates,
Mega.
your heart rate's low and
Yeah.
yeah.
Got to do a bit of everything, I
Yeah,
think.
oh, it's got to
Yeah.
balance out, and I do find that's where I struggle a lot is
Yeah.
the balancing, and
Yeah.
that's why, when you've got so much on your plate, you can't be 100% at every single thing
You
that you
can't.
do.
No,
So you have to
100%.
drop something.
Yeah. It's so true. That's one thing that I've struggled with as
Mhm.
well. With my own fitness journey, I've really like if I'm in like my PT mode, which I have been for like a year and a half, 2 years, where
Yeah.
I train with Jordan.
Yeah.
And like, there was one stage where I was seeing him like 3 times a week. And then on top of that, I'm like, right, I want to do reformer as well. And then I
Mm.
also want to go for my walks and do
Yeah.
all this stuff. And then
And
you just can't do it
walks are
all.
so underrated as well.
Oh my God, so much.
I
So
love
underrated.
walking.
Yeah. That's something actually which being pregnant, because I'm just coming out of the first
Yeah.
trimester. First trimester, my sickness and exhaustion was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't, nothing could have prepared me
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
And I've really struggled with like, for someone who's basically been training every day, most days of the week since I was
Mm.
like 16, to not being able to like even go for a walk. That's how rough I felt. I'm
That's
like,
hard as
oh my
well.
God, this is
Yeah.
just, I
Yeah.
can't go on like that.
Yeah.
Coming out of it now, thank the
Oh,
Lord.
lots
Um,
of walks.
yeah, but I can't wait to just go back into my
Yeah.
walking and just
Yeah.
being outside and
Outside.
getting that fresh air
No,
and
no earphones, just
no,
outside.
yeah, just
Like
peace and
in there.
quiet.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
I love
definitely. I
that.
love that as well.
Yeah. So who
Yeah.
knows where you'll be reformering, you'll be doing all sorts of things coming up. Who knows?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. And I do have this you know, I mean, I guess everyone's got a bit of it in them.
Yeah.
I want to be perfect at everything. But then no one's
No one's
perfect,
perfect at
right?
everything.
No, exactly. And I think sometimes as well in the jobs like hairdressing, instructing, you do have to put on a bit of a show.
Yeah.
And
100%.
and I think people forget that you're human as well
Yeah.
and you do make
Yeah.
mistakes and like you
Yeah.
just gotta I mean sometimes in spin, you miss the beat.
Yeah.
Oh, guys.
Yeah. So
Or the other day, I just complete the track. We just started a sprint, no, the track completely just went into the next song.
Oh
It's like, no,
no.
we're still going.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
But these things
We're
always
finishing
happen.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But
I
we're
always
human at the end of
yeah.
the day. Like, you can't be a robot.
No, exactly. I always
Yeah.
say to like, we've had quite a few new instructors come in for Reformer as
Yeah.
we've opened up the new
Yes, of
studio and
course.
stuff.
Yeah.
And like, at the start of anyone's journey, that confidence is always a little bit like, oh God, like
My
da da da.
gosh.
And
Yeah.
I just keep saying to them, I'm like, look, no one will know what your flow is meant to
Mm,
be other than you,
hmm
right? So as long as you just kind of go along with it, you're going to have some days where it's not going to be 100%, but the majority of your sessions that you do will be amazing.
Yeah.
You've got to just have that kind of confidence and just
Yeah.
get on with
Or
it.
even just own the mistake.
Exactly.
It's like, oh God.
Yeah. Never mind.
Sorry, we'll do
Yeah.
that instead. Or
Yeah. Because
like
people
it's
appreciate
just
that.
yeah, but the confidence does take like when
Yeah.
I first started at the studio, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's and I feel like because people knew me as a member as well, it's
Mm,
hard because they know that I'm new to it.
yeah.
And it is almost like I'm not saying they were judging me, but
Yeah.
that's the feeling
Yeah.
you feel like you do have to
More of a pressure.
yeah, there's a bit more pressure.
Yeah.
There was for me anyway. That could have
Yeah.
been completely made up in my head.
Yeah.
But there was
Yeah. Yeah.
for me
They wouldn't have been giving it to you at
no,
all,
but
but
for
you
me
feel
it was just
it.
the extra pressure
Yeah.
inside.
An
Definitely.
imposter syndrome a little bit.
100 I feel that all the time,
Yeah.
imposter syndrome.
Yeah. I
Every
feel
day.
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, even as a mum, I'm like, what
Yeah.
how am I a mum? I'm just
Yeah.
just a teenage girl.
Yeah.
I'm still so young.
What?
Why am I a mum?
Yeah.
I don't know how to look after children, but obviously I do.
Yeah,
Because I
exactly.
do it.
Exactly. Obviously, you do.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And do you know what? I've heard a couple of coaches in the past have kind of said like imposter syndrome is not a thing. I'm like, it absolutely is a thing. Like to say that it isn't a thing, you're just lying to yourself.
Mm.
Like everyone goes through imposter syndrome, and like I think rather than trying to deny that that's how you're feeling and mask it, just
Mm.
accept that that's how you're feeling and know that it's normal.
Yeah.
And it will just, that feeling will
But
fade.
that is, I feel like it's important to feel like that because it's what is the drive.
Yes, 100%. And it's
Getting
that,
thrown in the deep end is the best.
yeah,
For you. It's
yeah.
the best thing for you.
Feeling
definitely.
like that. No, it's you knowing that you're doing something that's you're growing with.
Yeah.
And if you're not feeling that, then you need to be doing something else.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
Yeah.
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 Oh my goodness. I've been going through these notes. You've just seen me. I'm
Yeah.
like, right, what are we talking about?
I feel like we're going off on a
Yeah,
tangent.
but I love that.
But yeah, that's
That's what it's all about. One question that I want to ask
Mm.
you, if you could give your younger self some advice, what would you say to her?
My younger self.
Yeah. Or if you could just say one thing to her.
Probably, yeah. Not everything has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. That
I've
comes quickly
always,
off what we
yeah,
just
and I've
said.
always been a perfectionist. It's Virgo. It's Virgo nature.
You're Virgo. Yeah.
It's just who we are.
Yeah. You definitely are. My mum's a Virgo.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard, coming away from that thought process. But yeah, I look at my daughter and she is like a younger version of me, obviously.
Yeah.
And like I said at the start, all I want is for them to be good people and be happy. Just whatever makes you happy, you do it.
Just do it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because you're only here for a short while. You're not here forever.
Yeah.
Forever's not,
It's not promised.
you're not promised tomorrow. So yeah, just be happy. Yeah, nothing else matters really.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want them to have good jobs.
Want them to
And earn their own money and not to have to rely on anyone else.
Yeah.
That's obviously another thing. But yeah, for my younger self, definitely not everything has to be perfect.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And actually, you were saying, I forgot to mention about what you do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Reading.
Mm-hmm.
I love to read. I was getting back into it again this year. Because I just really think it helps my mind just switch off.
Yeah.
I love TV series and stuff, but for me it's still this overstimulation or I can't concentrate on this for more than 5 minutes.
Yes.
But with a book, I could sit there cover to cover
and just read
if I had the time.
Yeah. What sort of stuff do you read, or just like a
thrillers?
mixture?
Yeah, I do like
thrillers.
But then sometimes I need it to be broken up with a bit of a light-hearted because it's a bit intense sometimes. But I just love a twisty psychological thriller.
I love a thriller as
Oh my
well.
God,
Do you know what? I used to read thrillers all the time when I was like a bit younger. And then when I kind of started my business journey, I went through this whole stage of like not reading anything other than like growth, personal development, business. And then last summer, it was when everyone was reading The Housemaid.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I need to read it. And I went on holiday and I took this book with me and I sat there and I read it within like 3 or 4 days. And it just reminded me of that feeling that you're just saying of just switching off. Yeah. And it's so important to have that. Like,
and I think
you need
as well, not a lot of people, apparently, not everyone sees images when they think.
Yeah, true.
Which blows my mind.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy to me. But so I find with a book, I just imagine the characters and the story, which helps. It must switch on a different part of your brain.
Yeah, it must
because you're having to think, but not consciously. I think that's why I like it because it's giving yourself imagination
and use your brain in a different way to what you're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah. But like you with the Pilates and that, I'm reading lots about that, anatomy, but then I'm like, right, once I get into bed, the fiction that comes out,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Until my eyes are dropping. And
Yeah.
then
Do you know what? I need to
that's it.
start doing
Yeah.
that again. I used to do that years ago. And I think, especially at the moment where I've kind of got so much going
Yeah.
on, that time is so important.
Yeah. Even if it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Put the phone down, get the
Yeah.
phone out the way.
Before you know it, you're like
Yeah.
30 chapters deep.
Yeah,
And it's like 2
literally.
in the morning. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that worries me
Need
though.
to
I'm like,
go
no, I
to
need to go to
sleep.
sleep now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
reading, exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the things.
Reading and exercise.
Reading and exercise.
And going out for lunch.
Oh yeah, lovely. Who doesn't love
I like
that?
going out for lunch.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is there
Yeah.
anything that we haven't spoken about that you want to share?
I think we've covered
Yeah.
my life pretty
Yeah.
much, I feel
Yeah.
like. Yeah, I think so.
My tummy's rumbling. Can you hear it?
No,
Oh my God, it's
you
so
sound
loud.
a bit
If
unhungry
if
today.
the mic is picking it up.
Yeah, so I'm starving after affects. Yesterday,
Oh, yeah. The day after is always
just
like,
like, I'm ravenous.
yeah.
Woke
Have
up,
you eaten today yet?
have eaten, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I'm definitely gonna eat a big lunch
Oh,
today.
yeah. Lovely. Amazing. Well,
Yeah.
enjoy your lunch.
Thank you.
Where can people find you on socials?
So I just have Instagram
Yep.
at Charlotte Fensome.
Fabulous.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I use, to be honest, really.
Yeah.
I don't have a separate account for
Yeah.
anything. It's
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
Me to
Do you know
think
what?
about.
Yeah, I'm all for having just one
Yeah.
account. You are you.
Okay.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You've been a fantastic
Thank
guest.
you.
I have loved talking to you and I've loved finding out more about your journey because I knew there was so much to it and I've been deliberately waiting to speak to you about it here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd have raised awareness about it. Like you
Yeah.
said, we'll write down
Yeah.
those symptoms underneath the
Mhm.
episode. And you've shared your Instagram. So if anyone wants to get in
If you
touch
want to
with
follow
you,
me or
they
ask
can.
any questions, you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And
Thanks for having me.
you're welcome. Thank you guys for watching and listening wherever you're coming from. Please make sure you subscribe, share, like, comment, do all the things, and we'll see you soon.